How dare you ask me that question?
Stellen Sie sich einen Soldaten vor. So groß wie ein Insekt. Die ultimative Geheimwaffe.
Verleiht man jedem unbegrenzte Macht, endet es im Chaos.
Wie halten wir ihn auf?
Ich kenne da jemanden.
At first, your own son thought that Ant-Man was kind of lame. Has he seen the movie and has that changed?
He has, but he never thought it was lame. When I told him I was playing Ant-Man, he made a joke because he likes to make fun of me, and he likes to make me laugh, and he did. But it was weird because this is the first time he's ever been interested in anything that I'm doing. It's, I could talk about other things, and he's like, oh, okay, yeah, but it's like superhero. And it's like, really? Well, and then he came to visit the set, and he saw the costume, and I let him try on the helmet. And I saw his excitement grow and grow over the course of a year or two. And then last week, we watched the movie together, and he's never seen me in anything. And so, yeah, it was really an amazing, kind of profoundly moving experience for me, and I would imagine sensory overload for him.
So you'd say there was no particular comic book storyline that you focused on, but rather you went and made it your own, kind of?
Well, there are elements of it that key off its Marvel premiere number 47, which is the issue in 1979 that introduced Scott Lang. The basics of Scott Lang stealing the suit from Hank Pym kind of come from that story. And that story in the comics was titled, To Steal an Ant-Man, ! It had a heist movie title. So that was the original concept, but everything else in terms of the story and the characters just keyed off of that, and we were free to reinvent it.
Und das sind deine größten Verbündeten.
Ihr seid ja niedlich.
Yeah, can you tell us about your character in the movies? What is his purpose?
Well, I'm part of the heist. There's not too much I could tell you more than that. I'm one of the team that rounds out. I round out the team that helps Ant-Man. Let me see what else I could do without getting killed.
Du musst keine Angst haben.
Oh nein, Daddy kriegt nie Angst.
Gut.
Wie geht das, Bro?
Ganz ruhig, schau auf deine Schulter.
How did you personally feel about the Marvel franchise before this movie was even on your radar, and has something changed?
Well, I'm not a big, not just Marvel, comic book, super comic book guy. I've seen a couple over the years. I guess maybe there was a part of me which wondered, why hasn't anybody ever asked me to be in one of these movies? But I kept that to myself, it wasn't. And then, lo and behold, Marvel came to me with the Ant-Man, and I started reading it. Well, they're very smart. They also gave me about 2 years of the comics, of the Ant-Man comics, original comics, so I understood a little more about Hank Pym and all of this. There was a great backstory. My son came in and saw me reading it, and he said, "Is that Ant-Man?" I said, "Yeah." And he took the script away from me, and he looked me in the eye and said, "You've got to do this movie, Dad." I said, "Well, Dad." I said, No, Dad. You have got to do this movie." And I said, "All right, you don't understand. There's a whole new audience out there for you." And I said, "Okay, you're right."
That's what your 14-year-old...
So he's like my agent. I think I'm going to hire him as my agent.
Scott, das ist deine Chance, ein Held zu werden. Ich brauche dich als Ant-Man.
Ich denke, als erstes sollten wir die Avengers anrufen.
There's a bit of a setup for, Ant-Man being present in the Avengers franchise and more Marvel movies. Would you be interested in taking on the character after that in like a sequel, or is that...
Listen, if we're lucky enough to be able to tell more Ant-Man stories, I'd love to do it. I think by the time we get to the end of the movie, there's some real questions, that arise at the end of the story for all of the characters, for Hank Pym, for Scott Lang, and for Hope. Hope, Evangeline's character, it's every bit her story as it is Ant-Man's. I mean, her journey as a hero in this movie is a crucial part of the movie. She's been held back. One of the fun things about the movie is Hank Pym has this problem And so he recruits Scott Lang. But the solution to his problem was right under his nose the whole time, and it's Hope. She's clearly the more qualified hero to do this job, but he can't see it yet. He's trying to protect her, but what he's really doing is holding her back. And part of the story is by the end of it, he's come to realize they had to reconcile, and he's kind of gotten enlightened about her potential. And so she's sort of allowed to spread her wings at the end. Huh?
Es geht nicht darum, unsere Welt zu retten. Es geht darum, ihre zu retten.
Obviously the second you signed a contract with like Marvel and Disney, of course you kind of knew that there might just be a huge arc for your character that's in store. How are you feeling about this, and are you like afraid or like looking forward to it?
No, I'm looking forward to it. I really liked this part. I really liked the opportunity to play somebody so different, and yet it's a fun world to live in, and it's exciting, and it's so enormous. It's a little intimidating, but it's a blast. Honestly, you know, I was thinking about this. Your last name. My son looked at me so kind of heroically. He would have looked at me heroically if I was playing an actual football player. He's such a sports fan. He's actually such a Germany soccer fan.
It's the best team, really. But
well, certainly in the last World Cup. But that's what would have impressed him. Yeah,
very good.
Playing Schweinsteiger, he would have lost his mind.
If you played Schweinsteiger.
Yeah, or even like just got to like meet the guy.
Or just like saw the guy.
He teaches it. I have a 5-year-old daughter, and he teaches her football players.
And the
it's
names.
So and so he'll say the first name, and it's so funny to hear my 5-year-old daughter say Schweinsteiger. Which she does.
Und ich glaube, jeder verdient eine zweite Chance. Und du?
Absolut. Die Zeiten, in denen ich eingebrochen bin und etwas geklaut habe, sind vorbei. Was soll ich für dich tun?
Du sollst einbrechen und etwas für mich klauen.
Klingt logisch.
What I liked about this movie is that it's not the typical let's save the world from the greatest threat in a direct sense of way, but also it's like a heist movie. Did you ever break into a place, or did you ever steal something? Maybe when you were like...
How dare you ask me that question?
Well, this is a little personal.
I don't know.
Oh, you can't say.
Why?
Yeah, no, I belonged to, when I was a young man, I belonged to what we called a hot rod club. And we were known sometimes for acquiring parts for our cars or hubcaps that we might want at that particular time.
No, I haven't. But it was important when we were working on the script, when Adam McKay came on and was writing with Paul, we all holed up, and Adam has a friend who's a securities expert, a guy that I would not want to get on his bad side. He could screw up your life in many different ways. But he was crucial in helping us figure out Scott Lang and how he was going to break into Hank Pym's house, and you know, the sort of the fingerprint lock and how he would
the MacGyver kind of stuff.
MacGyver stuff, and then how to get into that safe. This guy was really instrumental in sort of telling us what would be possible so that we could build off of that.
I have stolen some things in my life, but I learned pretty young not to steal because I was at a garage sale. And you call it like across the street. I was about 5 years old, I'd say, and there was a watch. Some kids were selling this watch. It was a Sleeping Beauty watch, but I just wanted a watch so badly that I just took it and ran back to my house. And they knocked on the door because I was not a very good thief. And
just took it, though.
yeah, I just took it and ran. They were watching me do it. And they knocked on the door and they said, I think Paul took a watch from our sale. And my mom said, "Did you take this watch? Did you steal a watch?" And I said, I found it in the street. It was the worst. I mean, like, and so she said, "Give it back." So I gave it back. They left. She turned around and slapped me across the face.
Okay.
She slapped me. And she said, "I never, ever steal again. You don't steal." And it traumatized me so much that I never did.
Dramatic end to your thief
Except
career.
when I was in college, I stole some candy bars.
Yeah.
Candy bars.
Bin unterwegs!
Denkst du, du könntest die Zukunft aufhalten? Du bist bloß ein Dieb! Nein. Ich bin Ant-Man. Ich weiß, war nicht meine Idee.